अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी भाषातारे शतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौ भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome everyone in the auspicious month of Adhik Mas. We are reading ISOPANISHAD. We are on the text 5. Tat ajayate tannajayate tatture tatvantike tadantarasya sarvasya Tatyu sarvasyasya bhayataha. The Supreme Lord walks, does not walk. He's far away, but he's very near as well. He is within everything, and again he is outside of everything. Inconceivable features or qualities of the Lord are being discussed. So we have discussed half of the purpose. The quick overview of the purport is Lord begins to talk about the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And in this context, we discussed something because of which we decided to make yesterday's discussion only private. We discussed about how in a life of a devotee things are inconceivable also. Beyond his understanding, and it becomes evident from their behavior. Then there is Achintya Bhed Abhed Tattva discussion, then inconceivable truth about the form of the Lord, deity form of the Lord. Then there was a discussion on the material to spirituality. We discussed about omnipotency and fallacies and other philosophies where they limit God by saying he cannot exist in deity form. We discussed that. Why did Lord appear in an Archa form? Prabhupada talks about it. And then there are 5 kinds of Archa form: Paraha, Vyuha, Antaryami, Avatar, and Archa Vigraha. And to whom he reveals his form? To one who surrenders. And now we will begin our discussion on the qualities of Lord. There are 2 words in the revealed scripture which are important in this connection: Sagun and Nirgun. Hare Krishna. तो कौन पढ़ना चाहेंगे? All right, Madan Sundar, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams. I'll read from page 41, sir. Prabhuji, when the child Saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence.
Usse pehla paragraph. Prior to that.
Okay. In this connection, 2 words, the revealed scriptures often apply to the Lord. Saguna with qualities and Nirguna without qualities are very important. The word Saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the laws of material nature. For him, there is no difference between the material and spiritual energies because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is Nirguna, without qualities. Nor does the Lord become a formless entity at any time, for ultimately he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. His personal aspect of Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god. Hare Krishna.
1 second, something happened to my Zoom. Somebody else signed in somewhere? Huh? No, I got signed out here. Okay, anyways. Okay. So sorry, I got distracted because my Zoom went off. So qualities of Lord is being discussed, Saguna and Nirguna. Sagun means qualities, Nirguna means without qualities. And these two terminologies are misunderstood, saying that when Lord is Nirguna, they think Lord is formless. No, Lord is without material qualities. That's the point being described here. Now, the Lord becomes subservient to the will of his devotees, not to the atheist. Srila Prabhupada said in the next next paragraph. Sorry, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Next paragraph.
Hare Krishna. When the boy Saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" The child Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere. The father then angrily asked whether his God was within the pillar of the palace. And the child said yes. At once the atheist king broke the pillar in front of him into pieces, at which the Lord appeared as Narasimha, the half man, half lion incarnation, from within the pillar and killed the atheist king. This means that the Lord is within everything which is created by his different energies.
What a sweet example. Because Narasimhadev came from the pillar, he's within everything. Go ahead.
And by his inconceivable power, he can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotees. Lord Narasimha appeared from within the pillar, not at the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of the devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but to show mercy to his devotee, the Lord can appear anywhere and everywhere.
So non-devotees cannot understand how Lord is Nirguna. That's the point here. However, the devotees can understand because the Lord manifests himself to the devotees. For non-devotees, Lord remains a bewildering reality in that sense. All right, the same statement has been confirmed by Bhagavad Gita. Mother Anjana, please read the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, padi aage.
In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the female Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He
Oh, wait
is
a second.
outside in
The first few lines, oh, sorry, is it a part of same para? Oh, in my book is the next para.
It's a for us, it's in the same para, Prabhu. The latest book, it's in the same para.
Oh, I have the old books. So उसमें ऐसा था, तो इसलिए मैंने कृष्ण चंद्र को बोला okay, hold.
I know, so old book.
Mataji, you have
okay,
to read
okay.
from atheists who cannot order the Lord.
So, Mother, complete the paragraph, Mother Anjana.
Hare Krishna. He is outside in his Virat form and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that's going on and he awards us the results of our actions as karma phala.
No, please complete the remaining lines of the previous para. You're continuing from ahead. All right.
Previous para you have to read, an atheist cannot order.
Yeah.
Para, an atheist cannot order.
Mother Indu, you read that and then Mother Anjana can read from where she was reading.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4.8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non-believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any other purpose.
All right. Mother Anjana, you can read now.
In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the female Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside in his Virat form and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that is going on and he awards us the results of our actions as karma phala. We ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless.
In fact, there is nothing except God within and without. Everything is manifested as different energies, like the heat and light of fire, which means there is a oneness among the diverse energies. In spite of this oneness, however, the Lord enjoys in his personal form all that is enjoyable to the little senses, the little part and parcel living entities. So we complete this particular verse where this fourth and the fifth verse, largely the theme was about the inconceivable nature of the Lord and our inability to understand that. Inconceivable means which is beyond our sense perception. We cannot understand. And who can understand this? Only a devotee of the Lord can understand. I would say, forget about Lord's inconceivable nature. Can you think of anything inconceivable within this creation also, which is beyond our comprehension? Anything within this creation which is inconceivable? This universe is inconceivable. So huge, yeah. For so long they have been trying to figure it out. Where is what? Inconceivable, no exact idea. Kind of this. Okay, good. What else? Yes, Abhishek.
Solar system.
Yeah, somebody saying online.
Prabhuji, solar system.
Wait, universe. Correct. 1 second. This why updates are coming and it's not going away only. This computer needed to be restarted actually. Anyways, 1 second. Yeah. Are you signing another machine? I'm not able to access my Zoom easily here. Okay, go ahead. Whoever speaks just can unmute and speak because I'm not able to handle much Zoom here right now.
Prabhuji, it's actually, if you see anything which is created by human beings, there's always an upgradation. But our universe, whatever is created right from the start, there is no upgradation, it's permanent, it is safe. And everything, it goes on as per time. Every demigod does their job perfectly.
Correct, but you are able to perceive it. I'm saying what is inconceivable. That is, you are able to perceive. That's the reason with so much confidence you're able to talk. I'm talking what is inconceivable.
Then, like we discussed yesterday, Prabhuji, even the seeds, out of the small banyan seed, which a big banyan tree comes out of a small seed. These are all, we cannot even imagine these things, and how a baby grows within the womb of the mother.
Okay, but you still able to perceive that. Yes, Agnel Prabhu. Birth of a child. How it grows, the science is able to figure out something, not everything, but able to figure out something. What else is inconceivable? Yes, Pranjalu. Atom, quantum theory, quantum mechanics. Only a quantum scientist can speak with so much confidence that how it is inconceivable. I don't know what quantums. I will not say anything else. Yes, Ashil Prabhu.
So this human body is itself is inconceivable.
तुम चुपचाप म्यूट करके मुझे बोलो डायरेक्ट. मैं हैंडल नहीं कर रहा जूम चल नहीं रहा मेरी तरफ से. ठीक है. The human body is inconceivable. You don't know when nature's call come. Yes or no? Is it inconceivable? I mean, why are you looking here and there? Look at the human body. You take rest also, suddenly again in the daytime you start to feel sleepy. Why? Because probably the food didn't got digested or something. Inconceivable about the body only. It's so inconceivable, so complicated. How we grow. Somebody grows of the height of 7 feet, somebody grows of the height of 5 feet, all kind of permutation, combination. You don't have to look at the nature. If you begin to look at the nature, that's inconceivable. For example, just rain clouds is inconceivable. Can you imagine what a high-end technology is in place? How the heat evaporates the ocean. Can anything evaporate ocean? But there is technology which evaporates oceans, creates a cloud. And that cloud has to flow inward towards the land. And then there is certain situation is created where it begins to rain. What a perfect system is created. Just inconceivable. And these all things are happening at a very, at a very gigantic scale. You know, Tesla has created Gigafactory. This is Giga technology. This is mini factory. You know, this whole rainwater, how does it happen? Your whole body, think about everything. I mean, how the hairs grow. Hairs तो grow गए, पर एज से पहले जिनके सफेद हो जाते हैं उनका क्या? You know, the loss of hair like this. There are many things. So this, if not, at least should humble us that what do we know? Even for tiny parts of body, we have specialists. इस लंबी 6 फीट शरीर में 2 छोटे से होल हैं जिनको कहते हैं आईज, एंड फॉर दैट यू हैव आई स्पेशलिस्ट, है ना? Then you have throat specialist, then you have heart specialist, you have lung specialist, what not you have it, and still they have not yet discovered everything about the body. Yes, Krishna Chandrabu.
I mean, look at this Zoom platform, Prabhu. All of us look so different. We are all considered human beings. We are all considered Indians, but we all look different.
Yeah, this is all in. So point is, the whole gist of the discussion is, we cannot understand on our own. We cannot understand. We have very limited understanding. Somewhere the today's society have instilled this faith somehow in us that we are on our way to discover the truth. Discover the truth about life, discover truth about space, and we are making advancement. And we will be able to discover. So हमें लगता है कि हम progress कर रहे हैं. But nothing is happening. It's like a pendulum going back from here. Nothing is happening. It's just not possible. So how can we understand the Lord? Krishna says, only who takes my shelter. Now mantra 6 onwards comes discussion on the features, the quality of Uttamadhikari. Because Krishna said, I mean, Prabhupada writes in the purport, who can understand Lord? The one who has taken shelter of the Lord. And who are these people? What are the qualities of these great personalities? That's a discussion from text number 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanivānupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmana tato na vichukupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani Atmanivānupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmana tato na vijugupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani avyakti yastu of one sarvani bhutani in relation to all the living entities. What happens? Atmanivānupashyati. Atmani eva, certainly. Anupashyati. Pashyati means dekhna. Anupashyati means what? To see in relation of the Lord. One who sees every living entity in relation to the Lord. Sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam. Sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam. In other words, he sees this presence of super soul within all living entities. Sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam. What happens? Tato na vijugupsate. Tato means thereafter. No means not. Vijugupsate hates anyone. So the one who sees every living entity in relation to the Supreme Lord, which means everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, does not hate anyone or cannot hate anyone. Translation. All right, Anshuji, padho. Padho aise.
This is the description of translation. पढ़ लिया आपने? Okay, translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada. He who sees systematically everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his part and parcel, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being.
All right, purport.
This is a description of the Mahabhagavat, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord's presence is realized in three stages. The Kanishtadhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship, such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worships there according to scripture injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and now here else. They cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another. These Kanishtadhikaris are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane.
Hare Krishna. So does not hate anyone. And here in the purport is going to talk about Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama Adhikari. To give you a real life example of it, how to understand that somebody sees everything in relation to the Lord, does not hate anyone. It was like this rainy season. However, it was an evening time. It was raining quite a lot and it was dark. And the bus came at the stop. And suddenly, after post office, there's a lot of rush. So people were trying to get inside the bus. And finally, there were two people who were left behind. One was a young engineer and an elderly person. And they both were trying to get into the bus, and the bus has started. And bus was all jam-packed. And the people were pushing them out. And these two people were pushing each other also out, just to get inside. And ultimately, both of them were pushed out, fell on the ground, and the bus drove away. And both these people got up extremely angrily. And they started abusing each other. तेरे वजह से मैं चढ़ नहीं पाया, तेरे वजह से मैं गिर गया, ऐसे करके हल्ला मच रहा था. And suddenly, so what had happened this point of time, when this all incident happened, the local light had gone away. It was a little dark. And suddenly, when the light came back, the headlight came back, they saw each other and they realized, the boy realized the person with whom he was arguing was none other than his grandfather. And immediately everything got resolved. Now they're not fighting with each other. This is the verse. Just we know our relationship, then this conflicts would not happen. Unnecessary conflicts. So Kanishta Adhikari. Adhikari है तो सम्मान देना पड़ेगा, पर कनिष्ठ है तो जूता भी मारना पड़ेगा. तो इस प्रकार से उसको यहाँ पे संबोधित किया गया है. So who are neophytes? I would say neophyte stage is such where you are still hanging between material perception of life and spiritual reality. His one leg is in his material conditionings and is in one toe is towards spiritual reality. Rest of the body is hanging in between. His only one toe has entered, not even the leg, like this. And because of coming from a very heavy, of course, all of us have conditionings. Because of coming with that heavy conditionings, he brings that conditioning onto the spiritual platform. Rather than changing those conditioning, rather than letting go of the past, accepting the new reality, taking the training seriously, he stuck to that conditioning and he continues to behave. What are the symptoms of those conditioning? Let me ask you all, before we go into the scriptures, what are our regular, what are the conditionings of a regular individual? Like what would be the conditioning you would say? How lots of people live life outside? What conditionings? What are the common conditionings? Yes. So one common conditioning is fault finding. This is your neophyte. What other conditionings are there? complaining, मुझे ये नहीं मिला, मुझे वो नहीं मिला. That's neophyte. What else?
False ego.
False ego. False ego, ठीक है. Well, let's talk about more external things. False ego जैसे ये हुआ है. Conditionings. What else? Competition. How can he get a Mahaprasadam? Why didn't I get it?
Comparison.
Comparison. ठीक है. Now this is okay. Fine. More gross. Harshness.
Greed.
Harshness. Okay. What else? What else?
Greed.
Jealousy.
Greed. Jealousy. Greed. Okay.
Anger.
Jealousy. Correct. Jealousy. And
Prabhuji, prajalpa.
Anger.
anger. Okay. Anger becomes angry very easily. Okay. What else?
Prajalpa, Prabhuji.
Prajalpa. Yeah, that's what gossips. Outside world is all about gossips. So let's talk about the things which are almost prevalent in everyone. You know, things which are prevalent. So gossip is one thing. What else?
Lording over material nature.
So I say, when you get unmuted, now there's a lot of feedback. I don't know. I mean, something to do with your mobile. It's a kar sound, as if the rat is eating your mobile or something. Yeah. So somebody was saying something here. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Lording over material nature.
क्या बात है दोनों को एक समय lording over, controllership mentality, all prevalent. What else?
Going defensive, Prabhuji. Always, if there is any mistake pointed towards accepting it, just going defensive on it.
So say that again, mother, again.
Going defensive. Matlab, if somebody points out any mistake or anything, we generally don't accept it and we defend ourselves. That's the general tendency which we find in everyone.
क्या बात है, तालिया. What an answer, huh? So fellow will not accept the mistake. He will go on defense mode. Okay. What else? See, neophyte, identifying the qualities of neophyte, you don't need Shastra and Acharya. We are a living example. You know, we don't need to necessarily refer scripture for it. Okay. Or what else?
Frustration.
Okay, that's frustration is okay.
Insubordination.
रिश्ते में तुम्हारा बाप लगता हूं, नाम है शहंशाह. Okay, मतलब not taking guidance. You know, I know everything. God damn it, I know everything. Okay. Everything else. कुछ बचा है भी? कनिष्ठा की पिटाई होगी, भी रह गया कुछ और. बात हो गई. So another
Hare
thing,
Krishna Prabhuji.
yes.
Taking credit for
Taking credit, yeah, that's all related with envy. Taking credits, competition, this insecurity and loneliness. Yeah, credit also so much deep rooted like that. So anyways, the reason I opened up this forum for discussion was to help you understand what is neophyte. This all neophyte condition which you have addressed is just somebody who's still actually in material consciousness only, but have accepted certain aspect of spiritual reality. He is not a spiritualist as per se, wholeheartedly. Who can be said wholehearted spiritualist? Who acknowledges and is willing to change. Correct? One who acknowledges that I have this problem, willing to change, becomes Kanishta Adhikari. Now he has the right for bhakti. But who is Kanishta? These are the qualities of Kanishta. So therefore it is said the battle is half won if we identify and acknowledges our weaknesses. But if we keep on defending and passing on our weaknesses, then we don't even become Adhikari, we remain Kanishta. That's the point. And this is the thing, today's generation struggle a lot to really understand that I have a flaw. If you tell somebody, Prabhu, looks like issue with you. Oh, no, not at all. We always go on a back foot to defend ourselves, how it happened. So this is Kanishta. They're not even Kanishta Adhikari. Therefore, for Kanishta Adhikari, this is not mentioned. What is Kanishta Adhikari? So other thing about Kanishta is groupism mentality. My group, your group. Somehow they just, because that's the more selfish we are, the more narrow-minded we are. So that's the point. These are some other things. So to reflect, which means if this exists in Kanishta, these things would not exist in Madhyamadikari. Is that clear? Some difference. Now, philosophical or technical difference which is given between Kanishta and Madhyamadikari is on their faith and knowledge of scripture. Faith on Krishna and knowledge of scriptures. That's a high level division between Kanishta and Madhyamadikari. All right, next about these Kanishta are the Madhyama, the devotees who are in the intermediate stage of devotion. These Madhyama observe 4 principal religion to the Supreme Lord, which are as follows. So, how the Madhyamadikari looks at the world? They see, first of all, the Supreme Lord. They see next the devotees of the Lord. They see also the innocent who have no knowledge about God. And at last, they see the atheists who have no faith in the Lord and who hate those in the devotional line. So, Madhyamadikari is a stage where they discriminate, or in other words, wait a second, again, my Zoom is. Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's coming now. Yeah. What was I making a point? So Madhyamadikari makes a distinction or discrimination among the classes of man, as though first he sees the God, then he sees those who are followers of the God, then he sees who are innocent, maybe atheist, but innocent, and those who are envious. So those who are envious, what he does? Keeps a distance. Those who are innocent, what he does? Gives compassion, assists them, serve them. And those who are devotees of the Lord, he makes friendship and he serves them. And to the Lord, he worships the Lord. When it comes to a Kanishta, he really cannot distinguish all these things, because Kanishta's mindset is largely driven by material perceptions and conceptions. And that is, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And one classic example of Kanishta is, if a Kanishta happened to, well, let's say if a Kanishta Adhikari or devotee happened to find a fault in somebody or have got some relationship issue with somewhere, rather than reconciling and praying to the Lord, please Lord, give me the strength and vision to be able to see the difference and rise above the difference, they will speak around. And as somebody speaks the same way as they're speaking, this fellow will say, you are my true friend. Because you and I only know he is a rascal. So they cannot distinguish. So if someone is envious, they'll make a friendship with another envious person like this. So this is about Madhyama. All right, Prabhupada continues. How Madhyamadikari behaves? The Madhyamadikari devotee behaves differently towards the different above mentioned 4 principles. Okay, Mother Priyanka, your hand is up. Please read it further. Unmute and continue reading. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji. The Madhyamadikari behaves differently towards the different above mentioned 4 principles. He adores the Lord, considering him the object of love, and he makes friendship with those who are in the devotional line. He tries to awaken the dormant love of Godhead in the hearts of the innocent people, but he does not approach the atheists who deride at the very name of the Lord.
Thank you. Next paragraph. Uttamadikari.
Above the Madhyamadikari is the Uttamadikari, who see everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between the atheist and the theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between the vastly learned Brahmins and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. Although they are encaged in different bodies on account of different qualities of their activities in their previous life, he sees that the Brahman particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being encaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective action of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttam Adhikari try to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies, but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them.
Continue the next paragraph.
Those who imitate an Uttam Adhikari by flaunting a sense of oneness or fellowship, but who behaves on bodily platform, are actually false philanthropists. The conception of universal brotherhood must be learned from an Uttam Adhikari and not from a foolish person who does not properly understand the individual soul or Supreme Lord's super soul expansion who dwells everywhere.
So very beautiful point Prabhupada mentions here. To understand what Prabhupada is saying here, we have to look at the word Vijugupsate, which means hate. Why people hate? Or you can say what's the psychology of hate? Yes, Abhishek. Because of attachments. Complete the statement. We become more clear. Because of attachment is correct. Like what? You mean to say material attachments? Because of material attachments. So what happens? Why would you hate?
Because it is not in line, just like in Prabhupada conversation with Mr. Patel. Prabhupada was again and again hammering towards the attachment that particular.
So just give me a simple example. Just give me one simple example. Okay, we'll come back. You can come back. I mean, you're not wrong, but just to make it more clear, just don't make a one word. Because of material attachments. How? Okay, yes, Ravi Prabhu.
Because of a tendency to have the proprietorship.
Proprietorship. Okay, proprietorship mentality. Yes, Manjuru. Anyone who obstructs our sense gratification, we begin to hate. How he disturbed me. Okay. Madhya.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, when we identify someone with someone's conditioning, which is not as per our likeness, our mode likeness, so that brings hate in us.
Not hate, it would be dislike. Hate is a very strong word. That begins with dislike. And then dislike can turn into hate if somebody does on a regular manner to you, which you don't like. You know? Okay, Varun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think one of the root cause of hate is ignorance also. So usually when people have
ignorance is the root cause of everything. Ignorance is the root cause of as much as lack of Krishna consciousness is the root cause of everything.
Right. So I mean
go
to
ahead.
say when people strongly believe in something without much knowledge, they hate other people who don't believe in that.
Okay.
Yeah, that way I'm saying.
I would paraphrase rather than an ignorance, which is correct, but I would call it narrow-mindedness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Kaushal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One reason can be the fear of losing your material attachments. Because of that, you hate certain things and you don't.
Fear of losing. For example, I have a car. The fear of losing car will make me hate who?
I mean, certain things.
I'm trying to understand. Abhishek said some attachment. I said material attachment. I don't understand how attachment makes me hate. I'm trying to raise a question.
Prabhuji, certain sections, I mean, you will not want to deal with, and you will keep yourself apart from it because you have a fear that this will be taken away from you.
Okay, fear can lead to hatred. Okay, not really confident of it yet, not very clear.
Prabhuji, if we take the example of Jameen Jaidad, तो उसमें ये जो प्रभुजी बोल रहे हैं that example can be so fear of losing the जमीन और जैसे घर में जो झगड़े होते हैं.
Yeah, actually,
that example can be.
No, one thing, there is a difference. That is not of fear of losing. When it never belonged to you, where is the question of fear of losing? That belonged to your parents. You
but
become
the-
like Duryodhan. You want to usurp somebody else's property, and then you claim, I'm fear of losing Indraprastha to Yudhishthira Maharaj. When did Indraprastha belong to you? So right way of saying is me and mine. Where I have identified myself that this is mine, then the fear of going away is where it makes me hate. So you can say me and mine. And now what happens over there is, let's say in Jaidad, aap jo keh rahe the property dispute, because the person has taken it, it belongs to me only. So yeah, you can extend that idea of material attachments, fear of losing, but me and mine concept. ठीक है. So now come back.
Can I say, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes. Somebody else is remaining. Go ahead.
So, yes, Prabhuji. So, you're asking material attachment example. So I was just thinking, if I see someone getting more appreciation than me, then I start hating that person.
No, envious. You should start hating them. You start envying them.
Pride.
You envy them. Hate is different. Hate and envy is different like that. You dislike them for that. Okay. It can turn into a hatred eventually. But okay. But all right. We take it or as real because आप लोग का कुछ ना कुछ experience रहा होगा तभी आप लोग ने उदाहरण बोले. So okay, now let's read that point again. Those who imitate an Uttamadhikari in terms of the sense of oneness, but behave in terms of body relationship are false philanthropists. Therefore, the concept of universal brotherhood must be learned from the Uttamadhikari devotee of the Lord, not from foolish persons. So you're getting the point? The concept of universal brotherhood, which means love, should be learned from Uttamadhikari. Why Uttamadhikari? Because he's the one who is free from the concept of I and mine. Concept free from I and mine. Unless we are free from the concept of I and mine concept is the sole cause for hatred towards others. That leads to hatred. So Uttamadhikari Baba said because he is free from this idea. Therefore, there is no concept of hatred. So universal brotherhood idea has to be learned from Uttamadhikari, not from the state heads. Because in United Nations, who are sitting? State heads. And these are the fellows who fight the most. So they are definitely, and no United Nations ever going to resolve this. Fine. So we have one page. Maybe we can pause. Okay, what do I do? Take 5 minutes more. Let's read it. Let's try to finish it because this week we'll not have this class again and next week I'm traveling. So let's finish this thing. Okay, Mother Roshni, read the next paragraph. How to see Anupashyati.
It is clearly mentioned in the 6th mantra that one should observe or systematically see. This means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the perfected teachers. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. Anu means to follow, Pashyati means to observe. Thus, the word Anupashyati means that one should not see as he does with the naked eye, but should follow the previous acharyas. Due to material defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from a superior source, and the highest source is Vedic wisdom, which is spoken by the Lord himself. Vedic truths are coming in disciplic succession from Lord Brahma to from Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, and Narada to Vyas, and from Vyas to many of his disciples. Formerly, there was no need to record the messages of the Vedas because people in earlier ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories. They could follow the instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Anupashyati, this is often used, is used in Bhagavad Gita also, is to follow. So our life, literally everything that we do in our life should be governed by this principle. Because every moment in our life, we have to make decision. So what decision should we make now? Is what we know, what our ancestors have made it. In other words, those who have lived a successful life, which means acharyas, the teachers, how did they make a choice? Because there is always a conflict between serving Krishna and serving Maya. At every moment, we have to make that choice. So we can only do that when we are properly trained up in this subject matter. Therefore, for this reason, I often recommend and encourage people, we should read and learn about the lives of great acharyas. Because then we know what decision did they made in such and such situation. And then we learn how should we act. For example, Srimad Bhagavatam Isn't it interesting that Srimad Bhagavatam, except for the 10th canto, unless maybe not even 9th canto for the reason, except for 10th canto, let's keep the 11th and 12th canto aside for a time being. In the first 10 cantos, if you see, except for the 10th canto, the 9 cantos are filled with the stories of failures and crisis in different setups and situations. And then how did they react in that crisis? You look at first canto, you talk about Parikshit Maharaj getting cursed like this. Mother Uttara Zoom being attacked by Ashwatthama's Brahmastra like that, And we have second canto, Brahmaji's birth. Third canto, the actually more detail is given there like this. Second canto, we don't have, second canto is largely philosophy like that. Third canto, fourth canto, Daksha's pastime we have. Like this, we have almost every canto. The Dhruv Maharaj incident is there in the fourth canto, like this. So, what was I saying? So, Anupashyati. Sorry, why did I give an example of Bhagavatam? I got distracted. What was I making a point prior to that? Skip my head.
Acharyas follow great acharyas.
So I was saying lives of acharyas. We don't think we have read proper Lilamrit, we know we should be read 10 times. Then as we read and as we have gained experience of life, we'll get to know, how proper react in a certain situation. So we know now how to react, how to behave. That is why we should do that. Okay. Kaushal, your hand is up for reading. Okay, Mother Jyoti and Deshi, go ahead, raise your hand. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Let's read the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, who originally taught the Vedic wisdom. The final, the most perfect, and the sublime work of Srila Vyasadeva is the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the correct commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Similarly, there is Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the Lord himself and which is recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the more important of the most many revealed scriptures, and any commentary that does not conform to the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is a complete symmetrical agreement between the Upanishads, Vedanta, Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without being instructed by the members of the line of Vyasadeva, or at least those who believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his diverse energies.
Continue.
Only one who is already in the liberated state, according to the Bhagavad Gita, can become an Uttam Adhikari devotee and can see everyone and every living being as his own brother. This cannot be seen by politicians who are always after some material gain. Imitation of this liberated status is to serve the outward body for fame or for some reward, but it is not service to the spirit soul. Such imitators have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttam Adhikari sees the spirit soul of an entity and serves him as spirit, which includes matter automatically.
Hare Krishna. Why Prabhupada is speaking about imitate? Any thoughts? Nowhere in the verse there is subject matter of imitator, and then Prabhupada, from 2 or 3 paragraphs before, he start talking about imitators. Any quick reflection on it? Why Prabhupada suddenly brought about the subject? Subject is of Uttam Adhikari, isn't it? Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttam Adhikari, and the subject matter of the verse is about the vision of a devotee, how he sees. So why did Prabhupada brought about the discussion on imitator? What would you think? What's your thoughts on it? Agni, yes? Hey, we have it, pass on, na? Okay.
One may immaturely imitate Uttama Adhikari to just show that.
One may immaturely imitate. Why would somebody want to do that?
So that people consider him, like when speaking, he will say, no, everyone is same. Like that, everyone has Paramatma, and so everyone is same. But maybe on the level of behavior, he is not like that. But just to, get that respect of Uttama Adhikari, he may just pretend that he understands that.
Okay. So Prabhupada is saying, be wary of imitators, because imitators, they don't have the substance, but they imitate so that they get the respect, like that. Respect, honor, privileges. Okay, okay. Any examples of any actions of imitation? How, like Prabhupada is again talking about imitators, be wary of imitators. Now, I believe this mostly largely in the Kanishta stage. Okay, so what actions would you prescribe? Like what kind of things? If it comes to mind. Nitai Prabhu, your hand is up. Say something on imitators.
Yeah, Prabhu, they are mainly the one who are in the mode of goodness, but they don't follow any disciplic succession. They don't have any understanding about the scriptures, but they remain in the mode of goodness.
Okay, that's a generic audience in terms of their mode of goodness. They're following rituals, but not with bhakti. Okay, they looks like they are doing very nice. Madhya, again, you have something to add on to it. You got the phone?
Prabhuji, maybe at the Jnani stage, someone who attains knowledge starts acting as per the knowledge, just knowing something, and then they start acting on the principles, but they are not yet fixed on it. It could appear.
Kaushalpu has a question. The word disciplic succession is removed in the latest version. Do you know what latest version? Where is it removed? Disciplic succession.
So, Prabhuji, I have a version, and when Mataji was reading, I saw that it is not at all mentioned in the last two paragraphs. There is mention of disciplic version, but disciplic succession. But somehow in this latest version,
yeah, there is a variation, Prabhu. Even the copy which I have got here.
No, there could be variation, but the principle and the concept would not ideally change. I don't know. ISOPANISHAD looks like I've gone through a lot of permutation combination. So if the meaning is
Prabhu, generally the copies which are in the West, they have a different style of writing, especially in the case of Sri ISOPANISHAD, while as compared to the one which are in India mainly.
Okay, I don't know. This I got in India because I didn't got any books from America. Okay, but the principle would have been kept intact. Okay, let's go back to the imitation. Anyone else was saying imitation? Yes, Abhishek. Wait. Zoom. Yeah, go ahead.
Artificially showing the symptoms of Ashtasattvic vigor, just like crying in front of the Lord, or
we don't often see that.
I mean, the places like Vrindavan, I personally seen that.
I mean, somebody may have natural tears.
I mean, I'm not denying that part, but I'm just telling the example because.
But if you say somebody is crying, now that's very strange. Nobody can cry in front of DT also then. If you say, somebody is crying is imitating. I mean,
in Prabhupada pastime also, one person.
Many ladies cry when they go in front of the DT. So many devotees cry in the kirtans. Could be many reasons. Okay, and that crying is just not one of the vikar. That's a very beginning stages. You can even have tears. You might have had tears in your eyes in different occasions, isn't it? Some lila is going on, and you became very emotionally surcharged. Kirtan is going on, tears will start rolling.
Tears with a mindset to show the people.
But how do you know mindset? How do others know that is imitation? We're not seeing the mindset of a person. Apna mindset hame nahi pata. So, what else?
In Prabhupada pastime, we had the similar incident, not exactly tears, but of dancing.
So that incident. You said dancing, that don't bring tears there. So you have to be careful.
Majorly talking about the Ashtasattvic vigor.
So rolling on the ground was an incident.
Yes.
Tears is just not the part of the vikar. That's a bodily transformations like that. ठीक है. What else? Anything else? Imitation. So largely it's not on the terms of action. It happens in the mental level. More than the physiology, it happens on the psychological level. And one aspect is, now I have grown up. Uttamadhikari is the one, there is nobody to tell him what to do. Although he would never act independently. But because there's no one to tell him, we assume that we don't need anyone to tell us anything to do. That's the point Prabhupada is largely bringing about the imitation. About external activities is okay, but anupashyati is to follow. So even the Uttamadhikari would follow because he follows scriptures so stringently that he may not necessarily, because he knows the scriptures in and out. So he may not need personal guidance from anyone. So somebody is in the association of such a person and he sees, oh, Looks like our Swamiji behaves independently. He never asks anyone for anything to do. Then I also don't need to ask. So if you see the whole context where Prabhupada begins with Uttamadhikari, then he brings the word of Anupashyati, and then he again concludes with imitation. So the major thing is not following, thinking that, well, imitation of growth. I have grown up now. I don't need to ask anyone. I don't need to clarify anything. What I have seen is right. What I have understood is right. So that is what imitation I have grown up. All right, so we pause here for today's discussion. We'll catch up on next week. No, not next week. When do we meet? We'll meet 31st July onwards. We'll continue from 7th verse. And tomorrow we'll meet for our Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9, if I'm correct. Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Upanishad ki jai.